It's lights out of a racing here in Mugello in MotoGP. It's a great start from pole position by Marco Bezzecchi. Getting away too strongly was Ralph Fernandez, who's going to try and go the long way around the outside. Bezzecchi, you know, is going to be much strong on the brakes on the long run down to San Donato. Oh, Fernandez goes wide. Ralph Fernandez goes really wide, and I think Martin's got through on Bez.
Made a complete mess of that. Martin has got through it. So the Aprilia 1-2. It's a factory Ducati 3-4. That is Pecco Bagnaia straight up into third place.
What a shocker that first corner was then for Ralph Fernandez. He went to the outside, on the outside of Bezzecchi. He was going straight back through. Bit of a head shake there from Martin with the full fuel tank and fresh rubber underneath him as they go through 4 and 5 for the first time. Bez then back at the front.
Look at Bagnaia shaping up too on Jorge Martin. Looking at the inside into Casanova and Cervelli. The Ducatis have come to fight on this Sunday afternoon.
Oh, Ralph Fernandez on the front row to 18th through the first sector. Surely his hopes of a dream double win already over here in Mugello.
Well, you saw just how much Marco Bezzecchi wanted the track position, wanted to be the leader. He doesn't want to be following Jorge Martin at any stage of this Grand Prix. Does Martin try and strike back early down into Scarperia? Bezzecchi just pulling out a bike length or two.
Through the flares, through the smoke. The Gian Antonio's had a shocker as well. Started 7th. Digia is stuck outside the top 10 in 12th. He's gone the wrong way. Once again, he just can't start that GP26, can he? At all, Fabio Di Gian Antonio. He's got it all on to get himself back into the podium places.
Yes, so the big winners outside of the top 4 we're looking at. Acosta's up to 6th and Iagora up to 7th. They've each gained 6 places.
So Ralph Fernandez has got himself back up in the 17th place, but it's been a horror show on the first lap for Trackhouse and the sprint winner of yesterday. So then now we're going to power down this start-finish straight. Aprilia here on Friday. They set the fastest ever recorded top speed in MotoGP. They go through the gearbox. Martin trying to pick up some slipstream. Is he going to be close enough to attack Bez on the brakes into San Donato? He is. He's got the inside line. Is he going to get it stopped? Because there was a big head shake there from Martin. He's going to run in hot. He's going to run in wide. Got to be careful here where he comes back on the inside line. Marc Marquez, though, eased up into 2nd place.
That's Bagnaia on the Ducati 2nd. Marc Marquez is 4th, so it's now Bezzecchi and Bagnaia, an Italian 1-2 at the Italian Grand Prix.
Bezzecchi just too good. All about now just nailing your corner speed, nailing your lines, pick up the throttle at the perfect moment, because you're in the slipstream here, you're in the game here, Bagnaia. Can he pick up some slipstream on that factory Ducati?
We know what an expert he is around this Mugello circuit. He is now in the slipstream. Here's Bagnaia about to lead the Italian Grand Prix as he goes to the left of Marco Bezzecchi, and Bagnaia does hit the front once again in Mugello.
Can he get it stopped? Can he get it stopped? That's the big question as Marc Marquez runs in a little bit hot. Pedro Acosta will run to the inside line. Acosta rubbing shoulders with his future factory Ducati teammate through San Donato. Acosta's the fastest rider on circuit with a 1:45.563.
Di Gian Antonio is starting to chip away himself in 8th place. You can see him on the VR46 Ducati top of the picture. Acosta decides he's not going to wait any longer to go through on Marc Marquez, but can he hold it down this long pit straight?
That's been coming. That has been coming. You do get the impression that Marc's been a bit of a rolling roadblock there ahead of the KTM, but he's not going to give it up. As you look at this, the Ducati, he just got the better drive, didn't he, coming out of that final corner, did Marc. Can Acosta dish it straight back into the braking zone for San Donato? He can't. The KTM was a bit out of shape, wasn't it? As he squeezed a handful of brake, decelerating at almost 300 kilometres an hour in about 250 metres into the G-forces there on the upper body. Unbelievable on that run down to San Donato. At the moment, Bagnaia still keeping Bezzecchi at arm's length. That gap's still hovering close to 0.3 of a second.
Is Bezzecchi confident enough in the Aprilia's ability to just manage its tyres a little bit better? We know the front end of that Aprilia is absolutely brilliant. It's why it's so strong around a circuit such as this. Is he just playing the waiting game, expecting Bagnaia to potentially drop off in the latter stages? We know Bagnaia is an absolute master. If anyone knows the key to victory here in Mugello, it's the 2-time MotoGP champion who leads this race.
And these two want this. They want it massively. Bagnaia just wants to have that sweet taste of victory once again here in Mugello as Acosta, just with a bit of a block pass there, eased on the inside of Marc Marquez. Lost all of his momentum there, did he, Marc, with that move by Acosta down into Scarperia, almost around the outside of him went Fermin Aldeguer through Pelagio. He does just about hold off the 54 by behind him, but now he finally worked his way through into that 4th place. What has Pedro Acosta's pace now with a bit of clear road ahead of him?
Some recovery this from Acosta, isn't it? From 10th on the grid, of course. A strong first lap, did a lot of the hard work there, and Marc Marquez is now under pressure from another rider who I guess has looked up to him over the years. Fermin Aldeguer on the Grassini, who's going to try and take that tighter line, and he's going to force Marc Marquez to jump out of his way. And now Marc Marquez is down to 6th place.
But a good list lap for Ralph Fernandez. He's picked off both Binder and Moreira and finally got himself back up inside the top 10. The sprint win from his three abreast they go. Big wheelie over the crest there for Pedro Acosta as he was full gas and full power on the factory KTM. It's now Marc Marquez has got himself somehow back into P4. Here comes Aldeguer. No love lost at all between Aldeguer and Acosta as they go through turns 2 and 3.
Yellow flags have come out at turn 1. So if Jorge Martin starts to close in, then maybe Bezzecchi's approach might have to change. I think it's Alex Rins who we've lost. It is indeed Rins, who started, of course, on the 4th row of the grid, made Q2 on Friday. He's gone down at San Donato. More
painful memories for the Spaniard, of course. He suffered those serious leg fractures here in the 2023 sprint when he was part of LCR Honda. Alex Rins' factory Yamaha goes hurtling through the gravel trap. We saw a thumbs up there from Alex, so thankfully he looks like he's A-OK. Diego Moreira's now in 12th place. He got passed recently by Brad Binder. And Ea Bastianini still inside the top 10 on the Tech 3 KTM. His teammate Maverick Vinales fighting his way back to full fitness. He's way down in 19th place.
Yeah, this is Ralph Fernandez, who's now past Bastianini. He's up into 9th place, and he's now about to join this group that's led by Marc Marquez from 4th all the way down to what is currently 8th with Fabio Di Gianantonio. They could see he did a 46.3 last time, Ralph Fernandez. He's the fastest rider on the racetrack, but unfortunately it was all lost at turn 1.
This has been a bit of a game of strategy, hasn't it, so far? Has Marco Bezzecchi just been content to sit on that rear tyre of Bagnaia just to manage his pace? This feels like, once again, it's the closest he has been. He starts now to gobble up the space behind Pecco Bagnaia. He's going to go to the inside line here. They go side by side. Bez versus Bagnaia. This is the moment then with 10 to go where Marco Bezzecchi has decided this is his moment. So Marco Bezzecchi then back at the front here in Mugello. What have you got, Bagnaia?
He wasn't prepared to wait any longer. Time to make the move with 10 laps to go. And Bagnaia now with a big question in front of him. Of course, with Marco Bezzecchi taking the lead. Martin, of course, still in the action. There's a huge gap, nearly 4 seconds back to Marc Marquez in 4th place. Bagnaia, of course, it's his home Grand Prix. He'll try absolutely everything, but has he got an answer?
Well, look at this already. Bez just stretched away from him in the blink of an eye, in the space of what, 5 or 6 corners. Bezzecchi has already gone almost 0.3 of a second. He's now almost half a second clear of Bagnaia through. This is a lovely move. This is a textbook move into San Donato. He knew once he'd got level with Bagnaia in the braking zone, he had that inside line, that was over as a contest. He just had to run that line through the middle of that corner as Acosta still cannot find a way through on Marc Marquez. These two have been within arm's length of each other throughout this Grand Prix so far, but it is still Marcus hanging on to 4th place. What a ride.
Yeah, even with a recently repaired shoulder, even at maybe 60-70% of his peak physical condition, Marc Marquez is saying to Pedro Acosta, you're going to have to try a lot harder than that to move me aside, even for 4th place.
Well, these two had some close combat in Buriram, didn't they? Here comes Acosta. He's going to line up a move into turn 15. He's got the inside line. That worked beautifully. Set it all up through beyond 81 and 2, but you just knew, didn't you, that firing it straight away underneath him through the final corner goes Marc Marquez. Some fight this between 93 and 37 at the front. Marco Bezzecchi with a 146.2 right at the moment when Bagnaia slipped into the 47s, and out of nowhere, in one lap, Bezzecchi took a second out of Bagnaia. Martin's going to gobble up Bagnaia very quickly. Pecco Bagnaia started this lap 0.4 of a second clear, and once again Acosta on the inside of Marc Marquez.
He's running him out wide
this time around. He's just going to make sure that you're going to stay on the outside this time around, mate, as Jorge Martin then now winds it up through the Aprilia gearbox. Surely this is going to be 2nd place. Surely this is going to be a fairy tale 1-2 here. Fair play to Bagnaia. He's really trying to tough it out on the brakes. He knows this is coming. He really did. Fair play to Pecco. Fighting fire with fire. He knows that grip's fading underneath him, but he toughed it out on the brakes. Martin, though, just that little bit stronger. Acosta has finally got through once again at San Donato. Is this finally Acosta potentially securing 4th place?
Here comes Agura.
Yeah, that's lovely. On the inside of Mark, just squeezing him out to the paintwork, going through Scarpa and around the outside, then goes Fabio De Gianantonio. So Agura and De Gianantonio then now sweep on the inside of Mark. Look at that. And Aprilia absolutely powering past Pedro Acosta's KTM. They both go sideways. They're both snaking left and right, trying to squeeze every bit of braking performance. Well, Agura just closing the door there on Acosta. I don't know if one of them maybe lost a little bit of aero, a little bit of bodywork there. Those two, of course, well, they've had their late angles. They clashed at the very last corner of that shortened Catalan Grand Prix. It cost Agura a 3-second post-race penalty. He was very apologetic in Pedro Acosta's motorhome after that particular incident. He might be knocking on Acosta's motorhome door once again this afternoon.
De Gianantonio is about to make Acosta's lap even worse as he loses another place. These are the two riders on the move, motoring in these latter stages, Agura and De Gianantonio. And the fact that Agura is now fourth will, I think, alarm the factory Ducati team.
Bezzecchi, quite rightly, is going to get the accolades. He's going to get the plaudits and the headlines here in Italy for what looks like a nailed-on home Grand Prix success. But you have to doff your cap to Jorge Martin. He had 6 crashes in 4 days in a bruising Barcelona Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago. He was hospitalised after that 6th crash at the Monday test. But he's rebounding in stunning fashion here as Acosta goes in hot into San Donato. From a double win in Le Mans to a double DNF in Catalonia, back to a double podium here, it looks like, for Martin in Mugello.
And it's going to be pretty much as you were at the top of the World Championship. It's going to be a 2-point extension of the lead for Bezzecchi this weekend. He lost 3 to Martin yesterday. He's going to gain 5 back today. This was Acosta, who was so close actually there to completely skittling out poor Fabio Di Gianantonio as that KTM was refusing to stop into San Donato. Fortunately for both, he missed him.
You felt like after the disappointment of missing out on the sprint podium yesterday, nothing was going to get in the way of Marco Bezzecchi from winning his home Grand Prix in Mugello. A lifelong dream is about to come to fruition for Bez. He's in that luxury position. He's in that wonderful position of being over 3 seconds clear with a lap and a half to go in front of his home crowd. They're going to raise the roof here in Mugello. 50 years since the first Grand Prix took place here. Of course, so many of the previous MotoGP battles were won by Italian icon Valentino Rossi, but they have got a new superstar to roar on from the grandstands as Ralph Fernandez easing through on the inside of Aldeguer, going through Correntino. This has been some fight back, to be fair, by Ralph Fernandez. 18th or 19th at the end of that disastrous first lap. He's now got himself up into P8.
Further proof that as we get into the latter stages and we're about to start the final lap, Aprilia have just got too much for Ducati at this stage of proceedings. 1 second, in fact 0.9 now between Bagnaia and Agura, and Agura took 0.9 of a second out of Bagnaia on the last lap. Bagnaia isn't home for third yet.
Agura's doing mid-46s. I mean, that's electric pace, isn't it? Late on from the Japanese star. I mentioned a few laps ago, keep an eye on Agura and Digia. They are famed, aren't they? Particularly in 2026 for their late race pace. Barring any late disasters, barring any late dramas, though, this is going to be a lap of Mugello, which Marco Bezzecchi will enjoy. What a moment lies in store for the number 72. The 27-year-old Italian never had a Grand Prix podium finish of any sort in any class here in Mugello, but he's about to end that run. What a weekend, what a day for Aprilia and for Marco Bezzecchi.
And it might yet still be an Aprilia lockout of the podium after they locked out the front row of the grid yesterday. Agura is just taking meters out of Bagnaia by the corner, and Bagnaia, within sight of the checkered flag, might lose his grip on the podium again.
He is. He has got no chance. He's got no chance. Agura's going to gobble him up here. I mean, Bagnaia is a passenger. He's a sitting dog. Oh, late heartache coming here for Bagnaia. Can he somehow defend and complete a podium here for Ducati?
Surely
has he got anything left? Agura just all over the rear tyre of Bagnaia. Marco Bezzecchi's already in the braking zone for the final corner. Here comes Agura. You know he's going to go on the inside of Bagnaia. Bagnaia tries to go defensive, but here comes Agura. And for the second time in the last 3 Grand Prix, we're going to have an Aprilia lockout, are we? Of the podium. Bagnaia sweeps to the inside line. What a battle for the final place on the podium. But Marco Bezzecchi is proof that dreams do come true. He takes a fairy tale home success here in Mugello, and huge huge credit to Pecco Bagnaia, who does somehow deny Aprilia from an all-Aprilia lockout of the front row. Bagnaia's late heroics do deny Aprilia an all lockout of the podium.
A dream weekend then for Aprilia in Mugello. Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin on the top 2 steps to the podium. Francesco Bagnaia fighting off Iagora for P3. Fabio Di Gianantonio down in 5th, Pedro Acosta 6th, and Marc Marquez returning from injury to 7th in the race. Aldeguer 8th, Raul Fernandez 9th, and Moyota rounds out the top 10.